Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan and welcome to MXTV. And joining me for this final show of the year, Brendan Bell. Belly, can you believe we're almost through this whole season?
Thanks, Hags. I tell you what, I can't believe it. It's gone so quickly, hasn't it? But we still have one more show to go, don't we?
We sure do. Tonight, we get to catch up with one of the biggest names in the business when we spend some time with legend and KTM team boss, Roger DeCosta. We examine two sides of this sport when we take a look at one of the more unsavoury aspects of owning a dirt bike. And then on a brighter note, we check out how the team here at MXTV are giving a bit back. Finally, in our last bike review for the year, we're back on the trails as we test out the 2011 Yamaha WR450. All of that, Belly, we've brought the rain, plus tonight we announce our big winner of our huge 2011 MXTV competition. It's just insane.
I know, mate, and I'll tell you what, you want to stay tuned because later on we're going to find out who rides away with the brand new KTM 350 EXC-F and all the other prizes as well, thanks to bikesales.com.au. But first up, Hogs, we're going to catch up with an old mate of the show, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Now, Brett Metcalfe is no stranger to MXTV, but since we chatted with him last, he's got himself a new team and a new bike. And Belly was lucky enough to catch up with him in his RV and have a little bit of a chat.
Well, I'm with Australia's favourite export. It's Brett Metcalfe, and I'm in his motorhome. Brett, thanks for joining us on MXTV, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. It's good to be back on the show, and it's been a few years, eh? So
It has, mate. We've been a while, and in that time, you've jumped on a 450 and just gone berserk on it, mate. How's the change been?
that's been good. You know, last year I got to ride 450s in the Nationals. It was a good change for me. I needed it. Pretty much rattled everything out of the lights bike or 250 that I could, and you know, I had some great results. Never got a championship or the win, and that was the difficult part. Was teams over here for 450 rides, they like to bring up the champions or winners, and I never was able to crack it. So it was hard for me to break through onto a 450 team. So I was thankful for the Geico Honda team to do that. And, that led me on to bigger and better things. With the Rockstar Makita Suzuki team this year, it doesn't get any better. So it's awesome.
Were you nervous coming into a team like this?
There's always a little bit of expectations there that people put on you. I really wasn't nervous. I felt ready for it. I think that's one point where I'm at in my life. I'm not a 20 moving on to the big factory team. I have got plenty of experience to draw from in my career. So I think, the way I've done it, I'm rookie in a 450 Supercross, but I'm no rookie.
And what's it been like? You've been on some of the best teams in the world. What's it like with Suzuki? Is there notable changes there or what?
The major differences is really the budget that they get from Suzuki Japan, and then the factory parts that we're able to have access to. Some of the stuff's just so far beyond like my whole bike. It's titanium, everything, and it's just crazy. So my clutch front brake lever is $800. You just can't get that stuff. But for performance-wise, it adds 1/10 of a percentage so in the package. But it's nice to have.
It sounds like your 450 is about as light as your 250 these days. Is that right?
Well, there's a weight limit, so we obviously can't push it too far, but man, it's a great bike, it's awesome.
Brady, you've been riding for quite a long time, as we said, mate. A lot of teams, professional teams you've been on. How is it riding with Ryan?
So far, it's been great. Ryan's is amazing, and to compete with him and, be on the same team this year, really just as a team-wise, it's strong. I think we got two solid riders, myself and Ryan. And
Brady, one of the big changes, and we can hear him going off here, is you've got two more additions to the family. Tell us a bit.
Yeah, this is Kobe. He's actually the biggest of the bunch. But, I first got a little Chihuahua. I always wanted a big dog. We grew up with dogs in our family, and it's too hard to take care of. So we got little, Chihuahuas. Now we got two of them.
And they come with you racing every week?
Yeah, pretty much. Just, when we're local on the West Coast, which is only, a couple hours or so from home, we take them with. But when we fly east, they stay home.
Mate, you got Aussie flags everywhere, outside, inside. They're everywhere. It's fantastic. You still keep that Aussie flavour going, mate.
Yeah, I have to. I don't get to go home often and, see family or anything and losing the accent, So I got to try and keep some of my patriotism going, put the flags up at least, and I still love Australia, obviously. It's getting to ride the nations each year has been one of the highlights of my career, just keep being involved with it. Last year, being the captain was, a pretty cool feeling for me.
Well, I could sit here for another hour and talk with Brett, and he'd probably let me too, but the guy's got to get out and do some racing. Brett, thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Hopefully I'll be seeing everyone soon, and yeah, thanks for coming and checking it out.
Yeah, big thanks to Brett there, and we certainly wish him the best for the remainder of the MX season. Now, Roger DaCosta is a man that needs no introduction into the sport of motocross. He's just recently departed, met his rockstar Makita Suzuki team, and now heads up the factory KTM team. It's just another challenge for a man who's conquered just about everything there is to do in the sport of motocross. Now, Belly was lucky enough to catch up with him and find out a few details.
Roger, welcome to MXTV in orange this time.
Yeah, we mixed a little yellow and a little red together and got some orange and took on a new challenge.
Everyone's saying, you know, why the change? You're in a great team, you had winners.
Yeah, it was tough, you know, but I could not get to terms with Suzuki and KTM. They were aggressive, they wanted to do something, and their program, the things that they want to do and all that is very attractive, and I decided to take on the challenge, and here I am.
Is this ground up for Roger DaCosta? Is this when you come in, was there things that you changed directly?
We changed a lot of things from the beginning. You know, I got there a couple of months before the season started, and there's still a lot of work to do, but we have a fantastic crew. You know, I brought in some new people, and we have some of the former KTM people that have been really awesome to work with, and I feel really good working here. You know, we work around the clock, and everybody is putting in 100% or more, so that part has been really fun.
How long before we see KTM up on that podium, Roger?
I believe in the 250 we'll be there before the end of the season, and on the 450 class, on the main class, it's going to take a little bit longer. It's hard to say exactly, but by next year we should be there.
And how excited are you to have Ken Roczen around?
It's fun to see a young kid with that much energy and personality, and he has only been here for a couple of months, and he loves America, the Americans love him, and he fits in really well, and it's refreshing to work with a kid like that.
Do you think we'll see him next year full time?
Oh yeah, if he had the chance, he'd stay here and not go back.
Is he a young DaCosta?
No, he is a lot better than I was at 16 years old.
Has it ignited that flame back in you now to think, oh, I've got something to really get my teeth into?
You know, it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun if you can succeed. And I think our 250 is awesome, and the 350, you know, there's still some questions about it, but we have to remember that we're racing 450s that have 7-8 years development time, and I don't think we are that far off, you know, and we need to keep working, the riders need to keep working, and I think before long we will show the potential is there.
Do you see that there's a future ahead for the 350s?
I believe the 350 is a really good bike, and especially for most people, probably the 350 is a more fun bike to ride than a 450, and there's probably 5 guys in the world that can take the best out of a 450 and use it to the full potential, and those guys are all contracted riders. So for the customer, I think the 350 is an awesome bike, and the fact that it is electric start and all those things, you know, makes it so much more fun to ride. And so there's a lot of new ideas on the KTM that is very attractive, and the customers already are noticing it because our sales are doing really well, and you know, there's a lot of positive things happening.
Mate, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate you taking me out. Roger's a very busy man. Roger, thanks for joining us on MXTV.
Welcome back to MXTV. Well, it's sad to say, but unfortunately, bike theft's becoming a real problem in our sport.
It certainly is, Lee. I tell you what, anyone that's had a bike stolen knows how bad that feeling really is, and it is becoming a very serious problem.
It sure is. So why don't we take a little bit of a look here at a few things you can do to try to make sure that your pride and joy doesn't become a statistic.
Last year in Australia, there were almost 8,000 motorcycles stolen, more than half of which were dirt bikes. Whilst during that time police were able to recover around 70% of all motor cars stolen, unfortunately only about 1 in 3 motorcycles was able to be recovered. Prevention's obviously the go. You want to stop these guys stealing your bike in the first instance, so you've got to take some basic steps to keep yourself safe. You want to lock the bike away, get a decent chain and padlock, and a quality item, not a cheap one, and chain it through the bike's frame to some part of the shed that can't be removed, so they just can't pick up your bike and walk away. Don't leave tools that they might be able to use to steal your bike handy. It'd be pretty embarrassing if they were able to use your bolt cutters to cut the chain and padlock you'd spent so much time, effort and money on to secure your bike, and then just wheeling your bike away. Also, don't leave the bike out on display. When you wash it, do it in the backyard, not the front yard. I reckon what we should all do is embrace some basic neighbourhood watch principles and look out for each other. I reckon if you see some suspicious activity around your neighbour's place, you want to ring 000 and get the police to come and check it out. It's better off being a false alarm than someone escaping with your neighbour's bike. When you're away, your bike can be an easy target for thieves. If you think about it, the 5 minutes or so that you might spend to go into the bakery to get something to eat where your bike's alone, that's plenty of time for a thief to get it off, wheel it away, and you won't have seen a thing. So you've got to take extra steps to make sure that your bike is secure. Number one, try not to leave it alone. Try to keep an eye on it if you can, or leave someone with the bikes. Also, consider securing it to your vehicle with a chain and padlock, maybe the same one that you've got for use in your shed. And if you go away somewhere and you're staying overnight, try and park the bikes in a way so that it's physically difficult for the thieves to get the bikes off. If a policeman comes around and you try to explain to him that you've got a Trick CRF 450 with an Ace Ringmaster graphics kit, that might mean nothing to him if he's not a dirt bike rider, but if you can provide him with the engine and chassis number and a picture of the bike, here, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm missing, then you stand a much greater chance of getting that bike back. Owners need to work together with the police to try and reduce the incidence of bike theft and your chances of recovering the bike if you're unlucky enough to get it stolen. I'd recommend insurance to anyone who owns a dirt bike, particularly those people who are on the road a fair bit and therefore at greater risk of having the bike stolen. Given that only something like 1 in 3 bikes are recovered, really, it's the best option for you.
Bike owners in general are at high risk of theft, more so than other vehicle owners, especially dirt bike owners. The bikes are so easy to pick up and walk away with that insurance just gives you not only peace of mind, but the opportunity to actually get something back if you are unfortunate enough to have your bike stolen. There are lots of products out there on the market. We recommend that you do your research and do some homework, call around, make some inquiries and make sure that you get a policy that's right for you and suits your circumstances at the right price. QBE offers a range of policies for registered and unregistered bikes. Registered motorcycles, we have comprehensive policies named Rider Good Rider. They cover damage to your vehicle, things like apparel and damage to your riding gear if you have an accident, helmets. We've also got for unregistered bikes, we've got fire and theft cover, so the more you motocross, your trail bikes. All they need to do is call QBE on 1800 243 464 to speak to a motorcycle insurance specialist.
It is unfortunate bikes are getting nicked. However, if you take these basic steps, it'll greatly reduce the chances of it happening to you.
Yeah, some great advice there from Rod, but take it from us, there's some real mongrels out there, so never let your guard down, hey Lee?
No, that's for sure. Well, it's time now for something a little bit more positive, an event that we're big fans of here at MXTV, the Challenge Ride for Kids. This year, the 10th annual 2011 Challenge Ride for Kids event is back, bigger and better than ever, on Sunday the 23rd of October at the Broadford Motorcycle Complex in Victoria. Now, it's a little ways away, but now's the time to start fundraising as the highest overall fundraiser wins a bike thanks to the event's major sponsor, KTM. There's a combined motocross and enduro loop, plus it's an absolutely fantastic day that's all about raising money for Challenge and kids with cancer. So get involved, and for more information, just click the link from either the MXTV homepage or at challenge.org.au. Yeah, it's a great initiative, isn't it, Belly? It's something that we've been right behind for 10 years now, since it first started. However, it's not the only thing that we get right behind here at MXTV, isn't it?
That's right, Hogs. Now, you might have seen young Luke Lee a couple of times this year in our bike reviews. He's a great young kid and someone we've taken a real interest to here in MXTV because we sponsored him this year. So let's have a look at how and why that come about.
I used to race motorbikes myself when I was younger, and like most dads, we just bought him a Pee-wee and started him off just riding a Pee-wee for fun, and he started racing about 5 years old and just sort of raced ever since.
Just loved it ever since I threw a leg over a bike. I just realised it's the thing that I want to do. My sister had a bike and then I started riding her bike around the front lawn. Yeah, I've raced for 11 years now and it's pretty much all I've done my whole life, and just being competitive really. I find it fun, it's a good way to get away, and instead of sitting at home on the computer, it's just good to get out there and actually do something and keep fit. It's really good.
think racing, it's pretty easy when you're riding the little bikes, but as you get over sort of 12, 13 years old and they get onto the bigger bikes, it does become quite expensive. So in the last couple of years we actually have done it pretty hard. We pretty much spend all the money we make on our racing, and it's money well spent. But you know, it's starting to pay off. It's good fun, and you've got to spend your money on something, so it's, you know, why not spend it on motocross?
Yeah, the main thing I like about racing is just testing yourself every week and just get better and better, and just setting goals and achieving your goals and just keep moving forwards.
2 years ago, Luke was actually a fairly good junior rider. I wouldn't say he's one of the very top guys, but he was a very good, confident rider, and he could mix it with the top guys occasionally. But we weren't racing a lot because it was so difficult financially. But now with this new MXTV sponsorship, it's definitely making it a lot easier. We're actually able to race now most weekends. It's just fantastic. I think it came about, I think, at the last round of the Victoria Junior titles, where he rode really well, but he was just riding like an old bike, and it was pretty much a piece of crap, to be honest. And I actually met Brendan through a mutual friend, and this other guy's a great supporter of Luke, and he was just telling Brendan how he likes Luke and he's a good kid, and that's pretty much how it all come about, which is just, you know, pretty lucky, really. He got approached then by Brendan, and that's how it all started.
It's definitely a lot of help having a sponsorship. You know, I only had one set of gear, just a couple sets of goggles, and at the end of last year we were down at the Junior Victoria Motocross Championships down at Wonthaggi, and my bike was a bit wrecked, had no goggles and all that stuff, so I had to race around with no goggles and no vision, so that day wasn't the greatest day. Had no back brakes on my bike, had no goggles, but I was still running up front and I was riding good, so Bally went and approached Dad and spoke to Dad, organised some sponsorship, and before I had the sponsorship the bikes were definitely worn out a lot more, but now that I got the sponsorship all the bikes are new and it's always good to go.
Luke's sponsorship this year has been fantastic. We were able to get a couple of Suzuki bikes. You know, we've got a complete toolkit, we've got quick shade, we've got oils and tyres, we've got some goggles and some gear and a lot of stuff. We're very lucky to have some really great sponsors supporting Luke at the moment, which definitely makes it a lot easier for us. This year, it's definitely meant we can race. If it wasn't for this sponsorship, we would not be racing as much. We would still race, we would still get by, but it would be a lot harder, and it's just given Luke the opportunity now to really sort of have a go.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better being sponsored. You know, I can just rock up to the races and have heaps of sets of gear, so after a race I can just come back in, change a set of gear, go back out and not worry about being dirty, and just all I have to worry about is my riding, really. Everything else is looked after. It's definitely helped my riding heaps, you know, because I'm not thinking about everything else, like getting everything ready and all that. Everything's all supplied and all that, so all I've got to concentrate is on my riding and just going out there and going good. Mum and Dad have been fantastic throughout my racing. They've definitely done a whole heap my whole life. You know, Dad's always been looking after my bikes, and Mum's just prepares the food and always makes sure I have a good meal before I go racing, and just makes it nice and relaxing at every race meeting I go to.
Luke's got a really, really good bunch of friends. All his mates are down to earth, and Luke hasn't changed a bit, to be honest. Like, he's down to earth, and I think he knows he's got a long way to go, but with the racing, definitely Luke wanted to keep stepping up. So every time, you know, we'd always look at it and never ever sort of think that, you know, he's going to be the next Chad Reed. But you just never know. He wants to race, so we'll support him 100%. And we do it for fun, but if he gets somewhere with it, great. If not, we're having a heap of fun in the meantime.
In the last product review for the series, we take a look at two great products for the motocross rider or weekend warrior. First up is the next generation in premium race jackets for those chilly motocross days and off-road rides. It's a Fox 360 brace jacket. It has zippered main body and forearm vents for enhanced cooling, detachable sleeves for warm weather riding with a rear pocket to store the sleeves. The polyester mesh lining wicks away sweat to keep you cool and dry. And best of all, it has a removable collar for neck brace compatibility. The Fox 360 brace jackets are available now from your local Fox MX dealer. Up next is the new Alpine Star Tech 8 Lite. This brand new boot is a minimum 20% lighter than the previous Tech 8. A new buckle makes for easier entry and exit. The bootie has been designed with added strength and comfort. There's also a low profile toe for improved control, and the contoured calf protector is injected with PU. And it retains a top and bottom reverse buckle system for a superior fit. The boot also has a new removable and replaceable insert on the right hand side, and the breathable 3D mesh lining reduces heat build-up, so you'll be able to keep pounding out those laps or Ks. The Alpine Stars Tech 8 Lite comes in black or white and is available from all good bike stores.
Welcome back to MXTV. Okay, well, it's almost time to announce our big winner for our huge 2011 MXTV competition. But before we do, it's time for our final bike review of the year.
Yamaha's WR450F is a dead-set dirt bike legend. Enjoyed by enduro racers and trail riders alike, the WR450F has consistently topped the motorcycle sales charts for good reason. A legendary reputation for reliability combined with a handling and performance package that's hard to beat. Its combination of iron fist power in a velvet glove chassis has produced countless race victories, while features like plush suspension and electric start have been enjoyed by thousands of owners over the years. Hurry in before the 29th of August 2011 for a great Yamaha deal on the WR450F. Yamaha's giving away 1,000 Yama dollars, a free pit tent, free jet washer and a free Australian 4-day enduro plastics kit, and there's super low YMF rates available. For a competitive quote on your fire and theft insurance, contact QBE Insurance, the motorcycle insurance specialist. Now let's take a closer look at the WR450.
First thing I noticed when I hopped on the big WR450 is it's not fuel injected and it hasn't got the same engine configuration as big brother, the YZ450. In saying that, absolute magic machine.
Well, the first thing you notice is exactly what Jamie said. It's nothing like the motocross version, but why would you change something that's as good as this? It's got very smooth power, it handles well. Today's a very wet and very slippery day, and although it's quite a heavy bike, it still turned relatively well.
It had absolutely oodles of torque, heaps of horsepower and an awful lot of over rev. You can just rev this thing over and over, it just keeps going. When you want to shift gears, you just hold that throttle open a little bit longer, it just keeps pulling. It's fantastic.
Now, I'm only a short fella and I thought that I could move around. It's slim, it's got great ergonomics, it's easy to read the speedo. The foot pegs on this bike are nice and wide and I love that. I know I've ramped on a bit about it this year, but I really do like the wide foot pegs that are coming out on modern bikes.
If I had a WR like this in my garage, I probably wouldn't change much on this at all. This thing out of the crate is just a magic setup for my size, weight, etc. It just zips through the trees here like there was no tomorrow.
Now, I'm a little bit lighter than Jamie, not a lot, but I found the suspension just a little bit too hard. I would probably get it a little bit softer, but anybody that buys a dirt bike these days needs to change the suspension. That's just how it goes.
As a package, this thing's fantastic. It's easy to see why so many people choose the big WR450 to get you out on your weekend trail rides or your racing. It's aimed at everybody from Joe Bloggs, who's going to go trail riding on the weekend, right through to your seasoned pro who's going to do all the off-road racing series. It's so easy to ride, it's so comfortable to ride.
Overall, I really can't find a fault with the WR450. It really does everything that you want it to, and it's going to get you anywhere you want to go in the bush. And if you want to race this bike, it'll do that for you as well. And we all know that Yamaha are pretty bulletproof, so you're not going to have a problem with maintenance on these sorts of bikes.
Yeah, good stuff, Belly. And big thanks to Jamie, Cam and young Luke for helping out with those reviews this year. Well, the time has come, the moment that we've all been waiting for. We're about to announce the winner of our huge 2011 competition for MXTV and the person who will be taking home almost $14,000 worth of prizes. The time has come, Belly.
It has, Lee, and thanks to bikesales.com.au, KTM, Fox, Motul and King Chrome, let's go and find out who the winner is. And the person that'll be taking home this brand spanking new KTM 350 EXC-F, complete with a set of riding gear from Fox Clothing, a handy King Chrome dirt bike toolkit, plus a fantastic oil package from Motul, is none other than Warwick Piper from Queensland. Congratulations, Warwick. Just under $14,000 of prizes there, thanks to bikesales.com.au. Now, someone will be in touch with you very shortly to organise delivery of your prize.
Wow, what about that? A huge prize, and congratulations to our big winner. Fantastic. Well, Belly, I can't believe the series has come to an end. It's a sad moment, but it has been such a good time.
It certainly has, mate. It's been a great year, and it's been fun, like always, making MXTV. Now, a big thank you to yourself, Lee. You've been fantastic throughout the year. And a big thank you to the sponsors as well. We couldn't make the show without you.
Well, it's been a cracker of a season, but on behalf of myself, Lee Hogan, and of course Brendan Bell and the whole MXTV crew, thank you most of all for joining us each and every week and supporting the series. We'll be seeing you real soon, but until we see you next, good night, and make sure until then that you hold it on.